Wokeism, as I call it, is a fundamentalist ideology.
It's not that you don't have the answer to everything that everybody asks you. It's when you're no longer secure enough to field the question.
They don't tolerate criticism. They don't tolerate dissent.
The objective here is a seizure of power.
Hey, welcome everybody to a Heroes Boot Camp from here in the bunker in lovely Iraq. We're in the barracks. Charlie's back in South Carolina. I have made the assertion that wokeism, as I call it, is a fundamentalist ideology. They shut down opposition. The positions they have are not necessarily logical, refuse to consider contrary opinions, and they brand contrary opinions as heretical. They resort to militant tactics. I already talked about that. And then they're forcing the views on the larger culture. So I'll just leave it at that for now. Charlie, I'll just let you roll in and kind of comment on it from a pastor's perspective.
Alistair McIntyre, who is one of the leading ethicists in alive today, and very, very influential. He made an astute observation. He says that the sign that the road you're going down is suspect, is bankrupt, is not that you don't have the answer to everything that everybody asks you. It's when you're no longer secure enough to field the question. I would say it's not that the system's bankrupt in that sense. I would say it doesn't care. We've moved off of substantial categories of moral truth to vacuous categories that can no longer, and so that can no longer adjudicate or no longer make intelligible what we're trying to do with them, and it's no longer support the load that we're laying on them, and so those become open-ended and they become hijackable, they become malleable, they become easy to manipulate and to use a language of that's not fair or I have rights, or even though there's nothing underwriting those things. Well, that's where we are, except people aren't operating maybe under the guise that, oh, we need capital under this. They're going, this is convenient. This is what we want to have happen. This is how we're going to accomplish the things that are in our group's self-interest to the harm of others. So they become malleable. And so it's not just that it's bankrupt. I don't think they care. I don't think anybody cares whether they have thought about it or haven't thought about it. They don't care about fielding questions. They're just going to shout you down. They're not coming into the public discourse and going, hey, we believe that this is not right, and here are our reasons, and here are our proposed solutions. Here's what we want to see happen. Notice there's not a whole lot of solution. There's a whole lot of anarchy. Historically, that's a setup for someone else coming in and replacing one system with the system that is it's an oligarchy. It's a few, and they're going to gain control, and this is how they're going to do it. And so that all of a sudden kind of sets the thing. We're not able to field questions. We don't care about fielding questions. And so all of a sudden we realize the objective here is not a moral objective. The objective here is a seizure of power.
Okay? So that, I think, is it. Yeah, that I think you just really, really nailed it. That sometimes I think when people are trying to oppose the woke left, when people are trying to oppose it, they don't get that. It's like they're completely missing each other. There's no connection there because the sides are not even talking about the same thing ultimately.
Right. Or you're masking, and say, here's your malleable categories. You're masking an agenda, a power struggle in a moral language because it's malleable. And so then you got the other people over here who are still using those categories as moral categories, okay? And so they're sitting here thinking we're having a moral discussion about equality or whatever. We're not having a discussion about equality. We're not having a discussion about that. What we're doing is we're seizing an opportunity to sabotage and to vilify and to marginalize and eliminate. That's what's happening. So to go in as if we're going to, have a discussion is maybe not the best tactic to use, because nobody's interested in the discussion over here.
Yeah. So that's really, it is a phenomenon that I'm still trying to wrap my head around. I mean, I get it academically. We just had the president come out and announce vaccine mandates. It was less than a year ago. They had promised that he would never do, that he said on the podium that he didn't have the authority to do. And yet he's coming out and doing it. And then not only that, but there's not even going to be any legislation debated. I think that's just a clear and present example of exactly what you were describing, where we're not going to have a discussion. We're not going to put forward any legislation to even try to let the people's representatives vote on it. We're just going to use the administrative state to just do it and grab a tremendous amount of power for the federal government.
Because again, your categories in this case, in a more limited sense, have been vacated in the sense that what's being posed as maybe a healthcare issue. Okay, well, we're silencing your, shut down on social media. My interest is not vax or no vax. I believe that you should be as informed as you possibly can and make the decision that is correct for you. My thing is the freedom to do what is best for you or your family is the point of the battle. The science that we need, a lot of it isn't being funded, a lot of it isn't being done. And then when we do get bits and pieces of it, it's spun, because all of a sudden this isn't a health issue. Okay, this is a grab for power, posing and manipulating and taking advantage of a health situation.
We're John and Stacy Curry from Semper, a veteran-owned, family-operated company making the finest marinades and dressings on the planet. But we're more than just another company. Family's our core. It's our greatest joy and our greatest strength. We inspire people through personal connections and savage patriotism. We believe in the greatness of America. We travel all over the U.S. and have experienced the fundamental goodness of our people and the strength of our communities. We're achieving excellence while tirelessly pursuing perfection. We offer 4 delicious all-natural products: Savage Caesar, Savage Balsamic, Savage Centurion, and Savage Cider. They're Italian-style vinaigrettes that are more than just marinades or dressings. They're equally at home sautéing in the pan, baking in the oven, on the grill, or as a drizzle or dipping sauce. Take your food to the next level with Semper Savage. It's homemade flavor in a bottle, and you are gonna love it. Pour it on.